have here is an old frame of just drawn comb, and I've got a big bucket of honey that I've extracted from my extractor earlier in the year, and it was sort of dirty honey, a bit of sugar syrup in some of the frames, so I didn't keep it for myself, but I've got a lot of it banging around, so I'm just using it to feed the bees. I keep this far away from the hive, and the bees don't fight or get into battles or do anything funky. We also have a bumblebee getting into the game here. Whoop, there it goes. Got this in black and white mode, so that bumblebee might not show up too well. Alright man, let's take a quick look at the old bee yard and see if anything crazy's going on. There we go. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. This colony, I got to dig into this one today, because even though it seems to be growing, I got a feeling that they're doing nothing down below. Then we got this big one over here, which is really, probably borderline swarmy, but it's also doing really well. So I might just try to hold off on doing a full inspection on this one for a while. But you can see the bees are they're coming and going, starting in the bottom, pouring out the bottom, and each of these supers has a hole in it, and they're using the entrance in all of those holes, going all the way up, including the last one, which hasn't been painted yet, plus the top entrance. So they're working it, man. They're doing great. Today I need to dig into this hive. Again, this is another one it's actually favoring the top entrance like most of the hives do. Oh, look at this. These bees have been stuck in the hive for about 3 days. About 3 days. I nearly fell on my face. And they've been stuck in the hive for 3 days. And so first of all, there's a lot of backed up brood, young baby bees that are trying to fly for the first time, which is what we're seeing here. But they're also getting general orientation flights from just the bees, but this looks like mostly new brood. So this is great. And I got to really stay on top of these hives when they're in this condition, because when a lot of brood is hatching out and all of a sudden you've got this influx of thousands of new bees filling the hive, it doesn't take long for them to run out of space and for the queen to become honey bound, which is they start making so much honey that the queen runs out of room to lay eggs. Then they swarm, and yeah, basic beekeeping 101 there. But anyhow, so I'm always a little bit wary of this when I see this, because I live in a neighborhood that's just maggoty with little kids. Love these little kids, but they're also, I think there's a couple of them who would completely freak out if a swarm landed on their swing set one day. So I really, really have to be on top of this. However, I still think this one's doing fine. I haven't checked on this one for a while. I haven't dug down to the very bottom for a while, so I might have to take the box, the top box, and then just go bloop, 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 and just rebuild the hive right next to it, right here. And right now they're all totally chill. I'll hopefully try to prove it. Here we go. Well, let's see if I can get my hand in there. My hand is a little overexposed, but this way she goes. Wow, these bees are just coming, and just look at them go, man. This is nuts. This box could probably, or this hive could probably use another box, but it sometimes feels that way when you've got like a bunch of orientation flights happening at a time. Like I've never seen this many orientation flights in this hive ever. But this is like 3 days of backup. Yeah, when you see these orientation flights, you kind of think, yeah, geez, maybe I should check on them, make sure they're not getting too crowded. But then, an hour later, all these bees will be gone. These are just bees that are getting out for the first flight, and it's good to have a lot of bees in the hive working the frames, right? So no biggie. It makes me a little concerned. It makes me think, maybe I should check them out, make sure they're not running out of space. It's not as impressive on the camera. To see in real life, these bees are just massive. It's like, see if we can. So I just slid the top cover off a bit, because there's so many bees coming and going. I just want to give them more room and give them some extra ventilation and relief. That's what I did. Let's see, I'm gonna walk right through this cloud of bees. Alright, there's an update on old number 7 here. It's really interesting what some of these bees do. They, from hive to hive or colony to colony, they just do completely different things. I've got a colony over here, and I really don't want to get close to them right now because, well, I will. If you look down here, you're going, what is going on down there? That's a lot of bees, right? They're totally crowding that bottom entrance all over the place, and they have been since the start. And I thought they were doing that because there were a lot of brood frames down there. And there are, and I checked, and there are a lot of brood frames down there. But I pulled out most of that brood, and they're still down there. Then I go over to this hive, and I see, boy, it just doesn't look like as many bees, and they're only doing the top bit of the hive, and there's nothing going on down below. So I did a complete full inspection of this hive today, right down to the bottom, pulled out every box. I rearranged everything, actually. I put all the brood down there. Anyhow, there's tons of brood down in the bottom box. And most of the brood was down in the bottom, like right down in the bottom. And there's no movement at all down there. There's no bees coming and going down to the bottom. They're all just doing the top bitty thing, but nothing down below. So it doesn't make a whole lot of, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't, like that one I would say, yeah, lots of brood down below and exactly what it is, but here, lots of brood down below, and they're not even touching it. So I'm not sure what triggers the use of the bottom entrance. And this one looks like it, that one looks like it has tons of bees and brood, and it does. And this one looks like it doesn't, but if there's brood from on every frame of those first 2 boxes. So it's essentially one full deep of brood. A lot of it is capped, a lot of it's opened. So probably half and half, probably like, if it was a deep frame, it would probably be like between 4 and 5 frames of capped brood and 3 and 4 frames of open brood. So that's really good. So I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I just put all the brood down below, and then I put just stuff that isn't brood up top, and the top box. So anyway, there's honey up top. There's a little bit and there's room for the queen to lay, and more honey down on that box. And then there's definitely more room up in this top box. And I think it had another box, and I think I removed one of the boxes because I had given them more room than they needed, and that's probably why they weren't making much honey. And this one over here, wow, lots of bees coming and going off of this one now. Just testing out this pollen trap, and you can see most of if those bees in this hive were using the bottom entrance like the ones in this hive, I'd probably get a whole lot of pollen. But there's only a few stragglers using it, and that's fine because they're sort of it's just the way they are. There's a small colony, and I want them to have as many resources as they can. So this is just a test. And none of my bees are bringing in lots of pollen over the past couple of weeks. It's weird. You normally see them. There are times when you see tons of pollen, and then in the times like right now, I don't know if it's a nectar. Well, maybe it's a pollen dearth, but not a nectar dearth. Anyway, we're on a bit of a dearth. Maybe around July 20th we get a bit of a dearth in this area here on the East Coast, close to Flat Rock. And this one up here, boy, I love that one. I'm not going to do anything with those. At the most, I might remove a box, but I think I'm just going to leave them alone. I see tons and tons and tons of bees up there, so they're good. And obviously tons of bees. I think this one could actually, I might even be able to remove one of the boxes from this hive, but I'm just going to leave it alone for now. And these ones, I think, even though they don't look big, they're doing pretty good. They're oddly doing pretty good. There's just a lot of nurse bees down below where you just don't see them. And lots of cap brood ready to blow, so come August I think they're going to be in good shape. And I think I got a bee in my sandal, which is not good. And that's a double nuke, and this is a single sort of nuke-ish situation. Anyhow, I took a frame of brood, a frame of pollen, some honey, and some drawn comb, and I put them in each of these nukes, and along with a bunch of nurse bees, and I think it'll work out. What I did is, and I also got some some queen cells from a breeder here on the island, and we're going to see if they work. We're going to just plonk them right down here, and hopefully in 2 weeks I'll have 3 new mated queens. And I want to do that. I was looking forward to doing that because actually this colony, I thought this queen was laying, this wasn't laying much, but she's laying fine. She's laying all over the place. So I was actually planning on replacing her, but I think she's doing fine. And this is a colony that sort of started off from another colony that died, and anyway, that's working out really well. It's actually, I'm really happy with that one. And this one, I don't know what to think, because there's tons and tons of bees, top and bottom, all over the place. But they're making bees, but they're not making honey. So I don't know, whatever. And hopefully those bees are making honey, and not just bees. But it's hard to say. I've had a summer a few years back where we had lots of pollen coming in, but it was a really dry summer, and there was more pollen than nectar coming in, and the bees were able to, it seems they were able to expand their brood production, but with little honey production, hardly any honey left. And that summer too, at the end, or that fall, I had to top all of them off with sugar syrup because they just didn't make any honey, even though they were packed, like loaded with brood. I've never seen more brood in my life. But anyways, these are the things that happen in beekeeping. Anywho, so that's it. These bees too, by the way, they were not happy bees for a while, and because they didn't have a queen, and now each one of them's got a queen cell. So I hope that keeps them happy.